going to be going into game number 3 here of the semifinals between Wham and Beastyqt, with the winner of this going on to face B in the finals.
Spawning in on the northern side is going to be Wam01 with the Mongols in red, and down south it is Beastyqt playing as the French in blue, and we see the immediate effect of that Mongols buff that they have received. Now starting off with the Gur in Dark Age means that they can go for the gold mining straight away, but looks like we're going to have some lumberjacking being done here by Wham. Makes me wonder if we're going to see some spearmen and possibly some towers.
That Uvu is rather exposed as far as whether scouts start burning it or knights in the next stage, but yes, he does have the no Gur scouting today. He didn't go out like B used his.
Indeed, he's just going to place it passively close to his gold mine. He could have used it for a little bit of a scouting if he's not planning to mine gold immediately, by the way. So it's not like you need that Gur on the gold mine straight away, but he didn't want to bother microing it, especially because he also had an extra scout himself.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye and see if there's any type of shenanigans as far as towers here for Wham. Was he? It looked like he was walking to build a barracks. Did I see that correctly? It looks like he might be, unless that's a pasture. Yeah, I think that's going to be a barracks. Okay,
Yeah,
so
here comes the barracks.
Get ready.
Will be spotted immediately by Beastyqt, so he knows what's coming. And Beastyqt loves to tower rush with the Mongols himself, so he's also pretty adept when it comes to responding to a tower rush. And notice the placement of the mining camp that Core is circling to us. It's in a bit of a diagonal way. It's going to be slightly less efficient than placing it to one of the sides of the gold mine, but it means that it's in the range of the town center, making it very difficult, if not impossible, for a spearman to burn it down.
Yeah, I saw him pull food villagers out. I can't tell if that was earlier than he typically does there for that gold, but yeah, it looks like should have no problem getting what he needs to age up. It'll be more of a fact of, denying that gold for knights early on in the second age. But yeah, it's going to be a tower rush. And, you're playing against the final round against Beastyqt. It's a difficult situation. Sometimes you can get away with something like a tower rush. Although he did try it against him last round, and Beasty did just fine. He sees the spearman.
Yeah, I mean, Beasty was looking for this. I feel like nowadays, if you see Mongols, the first thing that you gotta scout for is going to be the tower rush. So he's aware of this one, sees the spearman coming through, although not a single villager being pulled for a tower, so might just be pure vanilla spearman aggression on that gold mine without towers.
Yeah, maybe he's just trying to force Beasty to react in some way. Yeah, I don't see any villager yet. Is there? Yeah, I'm not seeing one, so it's going to be kind of harassing, I guess. But
he also doesn't have a lot of sheep under his TC. Ooh, boar being pulled close to the path of the spearman. Beautiful move here by Beastyqt.
Oh, wow. Gotcha.
It ain't much, but it's some chip damage. It's small things. You damaged one of those spearmen, so it's going to make it a little easier to clean up.
Yep, looks like he's staying just outside of that gold mine right now with his spearmen. So, kind of as I've mentioned, it's not going to stop him from aging up, but it will cause a little bit of idle time. Like, is that enough to stop his wheelbarrow? Perhaps. Let's see. He could go to the gold on the west side, though.
Perhaps. But all he cares about right now is wood, because the moment he reaches feudal age, he's just going to drop a range and deal with the old spearmen.
Yeah.
He doesn't even need the scouts to burn down towers. Usually when you see that spearman tower rush aggression from Mongols, the natural response from the French will be the scouts plus archers. Scouts to burn down the towers with, and then archers to deal with the spearmen. You don't see a single tower, so you don't even have to commit to those scouts. You can just clean this up with archers.
Yep, we see that Gur actually being moved a little bit closer there to the deer. You see that? So he can go for... switch from gold to deer as he wants to. And he's also using a scout to push them closer together. So I really like the way he's using that deer patch that's so close to his starting Gur.
Yeah, that's a nice little one. And Beasty, upon seeing that, he's just going to try to spread them out as much as possible. Still, 4 or 5 carcasses right next to that Gur. Nice little bonus to what is essentially a Gur placed for the gold mine.
Mm-hmm. Well, and out of all the others, all the civs that this would be disruptive to, right? He could pack that Gur up and move it around to his other deer patches if he wants to. So it's less effective. But yeah, it would force him to make another one. Looks like he did just make a stable right as he hits the second age. Actually, is he in the second age? He's still in the first age, but he has a stable, so he's going to start producing those horsemen. You can now get those upgrades for your spearmen and your horsemen. They are cheaper, and I think faster as well.
Indeed, and Feudal just now coming in here for Ram. The concern is that that Gur is very much exposed, and we're talking about French that can just dive in with some knights, and as that scout is chipping away with some damage out there, those villagers will be sufficiently damaged for a knight to just 2-hit them. Khan getting away with quite a lot of damage tanked here.
Yep, but we see a tower being built out there, so he's going to be ready to hop on in as those knights are coming across the field. Of course, it takes a little bit longer to build that tower than it did before. But yes, he's just now starting to head up to the next age as we already have knights and archers out on the field. And those spearmen, they can run around, but those archers are right behind them.
Yeah, archers should be able to deal with all these spearmen out here. And we have talked about this one in one of the previous games. Archer spear or archer knight is something that can be beaten by horseman spearmen.
Uh-oh, the Khan.
Oh, that's ugly.
I guess he saved the spearman, but he lost 2 sheep and a Khan.
That's painful for Wam. Loses 2 sheep, loses the Khan. So yeah, like
Jack calls GG immediately right there. No Khan, GG, he's done. Give it up, pack it up, roll it home.
Oh man, if losing the Khan is not GG, then losing the Ovu might be, because that's the concern that you have right now. Horseman Spearman will beat Knights and Archer. The problem is that we don't really have many of those onto the field for Wam. Those are still Dark Age Horsemen only.
Yeah.
If you ever lose that Ovu, which is, by the way, very much exposed, you're in big trouble.
I don't see a whole lot of Dark Age horsemen these days, but yeah, he does have them. Hopefully he's going to get them upgraded here in the next age. Just trying to buy himself some time, I think. Just kind of distract him, keep the pressure off of his base, I guess. But I doubt Beastie is very distracted.
Yeah, some more horsemen being added over here. But behind this one, off the back of this, Beastie is mining stone. He's getting ready for a second town center. And this is part of the reason why French are just so oppressive. In any matchup, really. They can put you onto a position where you have to keep making army to survive against them. But the moment you do that, they will just back off, get their second town center rolling, and then they will play from an advantageous position using that.
And he's got a nice little spawn there for his deer. They're both kind of in the back corner of his base. As you see him moving out that way right now, it's certainly where he's going to be dropping that town center. Spearman moving up, but he's got archers right in front of him. I don't think that's going to be enough horsemen to really deal with that right now, as there's a knight and 2 horsemen on the other side. And I don't know if he's even got those upgraded yet. Did he? Not sure how fast he got it.
I think he got it. I think he got
it in the last moment. Okay.
Wam banking quite a lot of food, maybe thinking about Castle Age here. Actually, we'll spot the villagers over here. Could be a little scary for Beastyqt, but he has just enough to protect those villagers. However, suboptimal TC placement coming up here for Beastyqt, because he's not really going to be able to place it on the hunt immediately.
Yep, we've got, it looks like, and he's got his town center he's trying to get, but he hasn't dropped it quite yet.
Lacking wood quite a bit. He needs to keep adding archers, and that's going to slow him down adding that TC. You see, he's got the stone. Wood was the returning issue. You see, it's actually going down rather than up, because he has to keep queuing up new archers.
Yep, and that scout down to the south is just watching what's going on. He's checking to see where it's built. Oh, look at him standing. Blocking the wall segment.
Just being a little annoying, little cheeky. These small details at the pro level are just so fun to watch.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to get that town center now. It looks like the Mongol army has moved off to the northeast side. Maybe he thought for some reason there was a town center up here, but yeah, he kind of delayed it. But taking precautions, taking his time. He wants to put this one in the bag. He wants to move on to the next round, and seems to be in a great position right now, sitting on 34 villagers. And we have to step right out. So a fast castle for Wam.
This is getting better and better for Wam, because the initial villager lead that Beast is going to have will be offset by the efficiency of the step redoubt. And then we're going to see the follow-up of the Mongols, something we so commonly see from them. Fast castle into relics being collected, and then a second TC being dropped. They will fall behind in terms of villager count tiny bit, but those will mostly be offset by the relics and the step redoubt. And this is exactly the position that the Mongols want to be in playing against the French. So this is concerning for Beastyqt here.
And you see that Beasties right now is investing in defenses. Now, perhaps he knows his castle age timing is coming. I'm not sure if he's honestly scouted this quite yet, but he likely senses something is up. He hasn't seen much Mongol army, but he's kind of been in his base, and in turn hasn't been raiding Wam. But There always could be that classic night run by as that town center capacity gets full. Remember, it only holds 15 villagers right now, so we'll wait and see if anything like that happens. But it does look like Wham has set himself up for some age 3 Lancers as he has 3 stables.
Yeah, the moment Castle Age is gonna kick in, Beasty is going to move out with his knights, also walling off back at home just to make sure that counterattacks will have minimal effect on his eco. The problem for Beasty is that his army is not spectacular, and the first couple of knights popping out from Wham should be able to deal with most of this aggression.
Yep, so we've got him in the 3rd age. That Step Red out, though, is not on gold at the moment. Okay, rolling it up. And look at that efficiency as far as that Gur is. He's been just rolling around the food. Before, you would have had to build that, right? You would have had to actually chop and build that. So just a little bit of a difference that's changed Mongols. But looks like BC is going to be trying to apply some pressure. He knows to check the gold, but getting raided a little bit back at home by some horsemen.
Yeah, that's a nice 1-2 punch here by Wham. He's gonna have Lancers back at home to defend. He's gonna have a defensive tower, some spears as well. Should be able to repel the attack from Beasty, while also doing some damage, some idle time here to Beasty's eco, slowing down his eco expansion.
Yeah, and if he starts to get some momentum here, those archers are gonna get caught up because he's got a lot of stables built there. But he's gonna need to get all of those units grouped up there, and he's still training some Lancers, so still got a little bit of time. Beasty has a window here.
Yeah, and looks like villagers are moving out for what is gonna be a board. The board has been killed previously. Someone even has been gathering food from it. Wonder who it was.
That's a good question. I haven't.
That's a mystery.
It must have been Wham. It must have been Wham, I guess.
Maybe he already killed it, but he forgot to drop a gur and the villagers went with like one circle. No,
walked back.
it can't
Could
be.
have been what happened.
Because if that was the case, why is the board 1877? That means someone disrupted from the gathering. Otherwise, it would be, what, 35 or 30 the carry capacity times the amount of villagers. Villagers are damaged, so they were the ones killing it. Maybe they've been pulled back when the knights started roaming around.
The Great Boar Mystery. Either way, it looks like Beasty has what he needs to age up, and there it is. He is building that Royal Institute that has his beautiful upgrades. Lancers being caught there in that funnel as Beasty has basically walled off his whole base. And, you know, we talked about the berries in that first game, but as far as food goes here, he's got a lot of pretty safe resources here in the corner of his map. He's got berries, he's got two deer patches, he's got wood behind his base, gold on both sides. Ain't a bad spot to be.
Yeah, that's a great point that you bring up. Indeed, Beasty has nothing to complain about with his map. Notably, Wham also spotted the castle age up of Beastyqt, so he knows what's up. Whereas on the other side, Beasty, he is unaware of that boar operation right now. So, information, slightly better right now for Wham, but the eco, obviously in the favor of Marine Lord, and you see Wham is just now starting to collect relics. Still no second
Marine
town
Lord,
center for
huh?
him.
He's got the favor. we might have Wham. I don't know about Marine Lord here, but Marine Lord might be in the lead. But
yeah, too slow
he's
an
lucky.
expansion from Wham.
He's lucky that those boar have not been hit yet. But there we go, a Lancer taking a charge there, and he's going to be firing off that arrow.
Oh, I'm just realizing I said Marine Lord. Ah, that explains
Yeah, that's
it.
why I was joking.
I didn't even realize.
That's okay. It happens.
I mean, it's French. Come on. You take a French and say, okay, it's Marine Lord.
You know, that's been quite a risk he's had up there with that boar. He's lucky that, like, the knights have kind of left him alone or that horseman hasn't poked over because he's kind of getting away with that greed. He's just got no tower up there. He's just going for it.
Yeah, it's getting concerning
up the
because knight numbers are increasing for Beasty, and one find on those boar villagers will result in like 6-7 casualties for Wham, and it's not like Wham's villager count is spectacular. In fact, he's still playing with 1 TC. We'll have a Springald tower out here though, so he's gonna be able to deal with small groups of raiding units.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many relics Wham is able to pick up, but both players, honestly, I would say this is a pretty even match right now. Both players in an okay position. Is too early really to call too favorable of a lead. I mean, looking at the villagers, you say, well, BC has the advantage in that department because he did go to TC. There's also the step right out to account for, but still a lot going on.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have the second TC coming up here for Wam as well. As we discussed, this is the textbook way of playing a Mongol fast castle. Pick up the relics, go for the second TC. The problem is that Wam was delayed quite a bit by the aggression of Beasties. So you see, he's just now garrisoning relic number 1, just now going for a second TC. Beastie bought himself a lot of time over here to build up the eco lead.
Losing some Lancers practically for free here. What makes me a little bit nervous for Wam here is you see BC continue to build some walls out. As we get into the later portion of this game, if this does go into like the super late grind, his base is going to be wide open for raids, right? You can build so many towers, but those knights can still run right on through and cause problems with your economy, and that's going to be kind of a difference if this goes into the super late. Looks like there's a Mongol raid at the front of BC's base right now.
Yeah, indeed, that's a big raid, and I don't think that Beast's army is there to help out. Some spearmen are out, actually. They'll be able to deal with most of those Lancers. In fact, this is a bad engagement for Wam. He doesn't seem to be noticing he's fighting spearmen here, losing most of knights here to the tower fight of the spearmen. This is an ugly fight there for Wam.
That was a great trade for a few cheap spearmen. He did use the defense arrow or whatever the heck it's called, but it still wasn't enough.
Spearman
2
numbers.
Townsenders online.
Spearman numbers increasing for Beastie as well, and Wam is yet to respond to that. In fact, he's just now switching into men-at-arms here. Hard switch with 3 men-at-arms and second prayer tent. Am I missing something? What's up with that?
He has 2 prayer tents?
Yeah, he's just now building a second one. What for?
Get those relics. More prayer. Well, you can't hold more than 3 now, so maybe
but, I mean,
he's got his eyes on the other ones.
He's setting his eyes on the other ones, but that's just a long dream. I don't know. I mean,
He's
at first he should pick up the 4th one.
There's one up north there.
True.
Yeah. He's going to pull off a relic heist, too. That could happen. Okay, so we've got just a lot of back. I feel like both these players just like going for a little pick here, a little pick there. Let's get all my stuff. Like, they're just trying to get set up for this late game.
Yeah, looks like Shaman will try to get the relic over here. Wololo will be attempted.
Ooh.
Should discourage the Horseman, but I think you are better off if you just make a run for it. Because it's gonna come back. Second Shaman coming up to heal, though. That Shaman should get back, and there is the 4th relic out there for Wam. That should be able to offset most of the eco advantage that Beastyqt has.
Here comes the Knights on their side. He knows his army's up to the north, so he's going to go see if he could get some raiding to the northwest, but it looks like the Knights stopped mid, so not going to be carrying that out for now. Does he have much of an answer for Spearmen? Does Wam? I think I've only seen like lots of Knights for him, or Lancers.
He's going for his own Spearman. He's got triple barracks, so I guess he could start adding some men-at-arms.
Yeah.
He probably just wants to overwhelm with spears, though. Because if he goes men-at-arms, Arbaletier is so natural of a response.
Ooh. It's a tough fight. I see he has 3 Shamans out, so he's really looking to heal up some of these Lancers, so kind of fun seeing healing being used.
And he needs spearman numbers increasing for both players. Forward barracks and stable over here, Ovu no longer around. But this is going to help reinforce this battle. And it's a Knight and Spearman war for both players. Comparable numbers for both, actually.
Yep. And this should be a big fight. And of course, there's Shaman that are being there healing as we see both players positioning for a big fight as a keep is being dropped on the front line for Beastyqt.
This is a big fight, a crucial fight for a game over here.
Defense arrow.
Lancers slowly making their way towards the villagers. Archers still out there, though. Reinforcing is much easier here for Wam. Slowly taking down the Knights. Spearman could close the distance, but this keep is likely going up here. The price to pay is big for Beastie, but he gets that crucial keep up.
Well, he has it for now. It's mostly secured, I guess, some of that gold out to the east. He can roll his buildings away. But it's some nice map control for him.
It's the forward exponential. You can now place ranges or stables close to that castle and make your life even easier by producing army on the battlefield for a cheaper cost. Improved herbal medicine coming up here. Ooh, not something that we see every day, that's for sure.
It kind of seemed like he was going towards healing. I saw him, he had like 5 Shamans there. And yeah, very interesting. He's also building a Mangonel there at home. But I don't know. I think this is still just, it's very challenging going up against 2 TC French for this amount of time. Oh, this villager's going to get picked off. He's trying to get some line of sight, but not today. All of those die along with one of his shamans. He needs to be careful with that siege because that could get popped so easily.
Yeah, Siege could be taken down so easily here. You gotta respect that. Quite a lot of Traction Trebuchets out here over here will be spotted by Beastyqt. Looks like it's just gonna be good old-fashioned 4 Spearmen, healing, and then Siege composition. Obviously, the intent is to take down this forward keep first before pushing onwards.
Look at that. Denying that those gold villagers for now. He's trying to pull some Spearmen back to deal with it. I think the Knights have realized what's out there, and they're heading that way. That's where everything is.
And those raids will just get more and more annoying for Wam. His army is very slow moving. Takes a lot of time for him to catch up with those, and Beasty can just tear his eco apart with the mobility advantage.
Now Beasty has 800 plus stone right now, so he could either drop another keep or he can use it to repair the one he's got. I would not be surprised if we see another keep drop coming in here very, very soon. See with some spearmen heading forward, but they might be able to get it. I don't know.
Remember, now you're consuming stone to repair the keep, so you're gonna have to have an ample amount in the bank to do that. So Beastyqt, it looks like he's committing to the repair instead of dropping a second keep, and he's probably gonna go down below the threshold of 800, so he's not gonna have a second keep drop simply because he has to keep repairing this one in the front.
I remember what I said early on in this game of, if this goes to late game, the problem with the Mongols versus the French, we see 9 shamans there, is the raids. As we see, BC is just running around right now, and Wam has to respond every time these knights run by with some spearmen. Not just some spearmen, a good batch of spearmen, because that's a big knight mass. But this trebuchet trying to get out of the harm's way. Pokeboy is moving forward, trying to pop him, but the shaman's going to heal each other. The tank.
Ooh, knights coming in from behind, though, trying to slide the trebuchets. He's going to get one of those.
Can't heal those.
Could be getting a second one, third one even. Decisive win in this battle here by Beastyqt, getting rid of all the siege. Such a great engagement.
Still 9 shaman alive there, but yeah, I think BC's got so much siege there. It looks like he's going to... I can't tell. There's so many shamans still alive. It's hard to tell what's going to happen here, but the other way...
He's not doing damage, though. That's the problem. He's up against men-at-arms, and sure think he's keeping his spearmen alive indefinitely, but he's up against archers and men-at-arms, and ultimately, they are slowly getting killed, whereas he's doing virtually no damage to the men-at-arms. Looks like he's gonna hold for the time being. Castle being dropped on the northern side. Villagers being pulled by Wam here should be able to stop this one for the time being.
Yeah. And French eco is still just a super strong force to be dealt with. And that's, I mean, really the MVP of this game is he's just had so much behind. Like, I think Wam has played pretty well. It was kind of good back and forth until we got in kind of this late game where it just seemed like BC's economy just kind of barreled forward.
Yeah, that mobility advantage started to pay off. Also, the fact that Wam was delayed at the beginning of Castle quite a bit. He was a little late picking up the relics. By the time his second town center came up, there was a massive village lead as well for Beasty, and he just turned that into army advantage. There is something happening up north, by the way, with Vos coming up possibly. Oh, villagers swarming the wheels of Beastyqt over here. But those villagers, I think, are stranded now for Wam.
Yeah.
Because Vos are up for Beasty. Yeah, look at that. Vos are up, villagers are stranded for Wam. If Beasty sends 5 knights over there, that's minus 10 villagers for Wam.
Yeah, and he can't really afford that. I mean... Can't afford the villagers he has right now. But Wam continues that healing. You would think he's playing Delhi. How many shamans does he have there now? It's 15 shamans. I love it.
16 shaman, 31 spearmen. The only thing that's missing from his army is something that does actual damage against men-at-arms, because he can keep his spearmen alive indefinitely, but they are barely doing any damage to the men-at-arms even. Such a weird composition here for Wam, and I'm not really confident about his chances right now.
Well, there's one thing for certain. That Khan is not going to die without some medics by its side. I don't
27 villagers in the men-at-arms chase down 7 villagers. Once again, a bit of a lack of efficiency showing there for Wam.
Yeah, BC's got to feel pretty good about this. I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes straight to age 4 at this point and just takes his time, but looks like he's continuing to position with man-at-arms at the moment. Those French man-at-arms, they got the giant feather on top of their head. They are some cool-looking dudes.
They also have the +2 attack by default, something that the French get for free, so You don't even need to bother dropping the blacksmith to get the up. Well, you have to drop the blacksmith for it, but you don't have to bother spending the resources on it.
I am enjoying seeing civs other than Delhi using healers, which is just kind of the change. Now you can attack, move, and heal has kind of been a nice change. Looks like a bit of a battle coming out here to the south, but those man-arms
Knight's
show
getting
up.
absolutely slaughtered here by the spearman. Beasty just a split second too slow to react, loses 3 knights in the battle. That's a swarm of angry spearmen. 34 spears, 21 shamans out there. The battle for survival here for Wam. Let's see what those shamans can do.
21 shaman. They're walking to the front line and dying. No.
The spearmen don't do any damage. If he
Not
had
that
some
type of attack
crossbows
move.
here, maybe. But
Yeah.
he can't kill men-at-arms. His army is dying still.
way.
Look at that. Men-at-arms barely taking any damage here. And indeed, it's an overrun of spearmen with the men-at-arms. Now it's a swarm into the base of Wam here. His chances evaporating in a blink of an eye. The army of spearmen and the shaman were not able to hold this. Now Springhold's also make an appearance to snipe the shaman from a long distance.
And not just like 2 or 3. He's got 5 Springles there ready to go and another tower. He's taking his time. I mean, he's clearly, I think
Red
has
Palace
this
drop.
one in the bag here. Oh, Red Palace drop. That's
Yeah,
what you're saying,
he could just go College of Artillery if he wants to play this safe, but I feel like a 4 with Red Palace could be a very intriguing choice for him. For now, he's just gonna drop a keep over here. Not a single trebuchet. Actually, there are trebuchets here to shell this one, but they weren't targeting this, so they won't be able to get the easy kill.
Yep, man-arms just blocking for the Springles right now. The Spearman just can't do enough damage. He keeps making more Spearmen, but the man-arms don't care as we see that keep getting completed there. Oh boy, poor Mongols. Never thought we'd say that.
I mean, the Shaman are still standing, but there is nothing left to heal. 2 Spearmen, 1 Man-at-Arms, 6 Lancers, and the Khan. That's the entire army of Wam. Shamans can just keep healing and healing, but there is nothing that does damage over here on the side of Wam. With a cost in his face, soon Imperial Age for Beastyqt. Down by 60 villagers, a tremendous army lead as well for Beastyqt. Looks like Beasty has this one, and he's moving on to phase B in the finals.
Yeah, and you know, regardless of how this turns out, it always looks like a landslide when you get to the end of some of these matches. But Wam played very well in this series, going to game number 3 in the semifinals against Beastyqt.
That's Red Palace.
You know, you can't be. There's that Red Palace and the instant GG with Beastyqt. Moving on to the finals to face B. I'm sure that will be an exhilarating series to cover, so don't go nowhere.
What a set over here. The swarm of spearmen, that was the story of the entire game, really. Every single game, Wam was just swarming with spearmen. Game number 1, overran Beastyqt. Game number 2, fall behind in the relic count, overcommitted to water potentially. Beasty evened it out, and now on Dry Arabia, Beastyqt leveraging the French power, a still very powerful civilization, playing a very clean game, getting the forward castle up, establishing himself for a push into the base of Wam. And the scholars or the shaman, even with the improved herbal medicine, were not able to keep the army of Wam alive. Beasty takes the win here, and with that moves into the finals.
Yeah, I thought the most interesting thing was the amount of shaman he made in that last game.